So you can sit any way that you like. I'm going to sit on a folded blanket. Oh, also for props for class today, if you have some kind of a blanket or pillow or cushion, we're going to stand on it later, and you want something that's not an even surface. So a yoga blanket's perfect, or anything like that will work as well. Okay, so we're going to start with a little bit of footwork here. So take one leg, and it doesn't really matter how you're holding the foot, but have access to your foot and just give it a little dust off. Yeah, free it of debris there. And then we'll spread out wide through your toes and weave the fingers in between the toes on the other hand. Yeah. Brian, go in from the bottom and use your right hand. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, great. And then once you're in position, oh good, they're here too. You'll just kind of squeeze and release your toes. It's like you're shaking hands with your foot. Have I done this with you before? No, okay. And then you'll relax your hand, but keep the hand in there, and then use the toes to squeeze and release the fingers. Here we're doing the yoga handshake, foot shake, so the fingers and toes are weaved in between each other. And then let's take the toe hinge and just move back and forth a couple of times to create a little mobility in there. And hold on to your ankle and just make some little circles here in the upper part of your foot, but not the ankle yet. Let the ankle start to move too. Fingers out wide, which will spread the toes out, and you'll pull the hand out and give each toe a little wiggle and a little pull, but be gentle with you as you do that, so you don't want to pull too hard. Great. Now you'll take the thumbs. I'm going to come up close so you guys on the screen can see. You'll bring the thumbs here right to the ball of the foot and go from in to out, and you'll make like a little bit of an arc as you do that. And you'll start at the ball of the foot and go down to the heel. And once you get down to the heel, we'll go one more round with that. So ball of the foot to the heel. And now this next one's kind of strange. You'll just hold the hands on the foot and gently fold the foot in on itself, and do that a couple of times. And yeah, seems like such a weird thing to do, but there's an arch here at the ball of the foot. It's called the transverse arch, and this helps reinforce that arch. Great, and then last thing here on this foot, just make a little fist and give the foot a pound on the top and the bottom and on the sides. So be really gentle as you're doing that one. Okay. And then from here, we'll stop and put both feet in front and just have a look at them side by side. And can you see a visual difference there? Yeah, it's amazing. So we'll do the same thing on the second foot. Give it a little dust off. Yeah, yoga miracles, right? And then you'll weave the fingers in between the toes. And go, if you can go down to the webbing, do. If not, just wherever you can get is fine. I've been doing this for 20 years, so yeah, I can do it. And then give the hand a little squeeze and release on the foot. So the toes get a little compression. And then relax your hand and use the toes to squeeze and release the fingers a couple of times. Hold your ankle still with the free hand and move the upper part of the foot in some little circles, but not moving the ankle yet. And then you'll set the ankle free and let the ankle come along. spread the fingers out, which will spread the toes out. That's it, like the toes are doing the splits. And then pull the hand out and give each toe just a gentle pull with a little wiggle, but don't do anything too aggressively here. Yeah, if you know this little piggy rhyme, you can say that. And then we'll take now the thumbs at the ball of the foot and give that little squeeze from in to out. Do that going from the ball of the foot down to the heel. And we'll take 2 passes with that. Once you're done with that, fold the foot in on itself. So just from out to in a couple of times. Last little bit here, you'll give the whole foot a pound on the top, the bottom, the sides, and this just helps bring some circulation in there. Okay, nice happy feet. Let's be done with that. And then we'll just sit for a little bit. Yeah, you can have a peek. The first one probably isn't as fluffy as it was from after you finished it. Right, so just give yourself a little wobble. See if you can feel the base of the pelvis here. And try to be as evenly weighted as you can between the right and the left half. And then we'll close your eyes. Relax your eyes. The skin of your forehead, the skin of your eyelids. Relax all of the muscles that move the eyes. Of the base of your skull, lifting it off the back of your neck. Easy breaths. How your body moves, where your body moves. And imagine that you could breathe starting from the soles of your feet. Let the next breath move in from there, traveling up the legs into your body. And as you exhale, the breath will travel down the legs and out through the soles of your feet. So just take a few rounds like that. And from here, let your head bow down and let your eyes blink open. We'll just take a few circles here in your seated position. So round we go. From here, bring yourself just back to middle. On the inhale, reach the arms up over your head. Let's interlace the fingers at the top. Press upward through the palms of your hands and just do a little side to side. Oh yeah. So simple, but we don't do it enough, do we? And then let's come to center here, undo your hands and just give the wrists some circles as you bring the arms down. And then we'll do some ankle circles here. So stretch out the legs long in front of you and just pick a direction, make some circles. And notice, likely as you're going along, the toes are really involved in your circle. Keep going the same direction, but see if you can let the toes do less and let the ankles do more. Not easy. Let's go the other way. First, start with the toes. So it'll likely be a bigger, more clean circle when the toes are involved. And then keep going this direction, let the toes relax, and let it be mostly the ankles that are doing it. Looks like you've got one rogue foot. All right, and then let all of that relax. Just give the legs a little wiggle for a second. We'll take one more here. So this will be isolating at the ball of the foot. Let's flex the feet, spread the toes out wide, and then press forward through just the ball of the foot, and then the toes. Pull the toes back, spread the toes out wide, and then pull back through the rest of the foot. Great, we'll do that a few times. The toes a wiggle. Yeah. How often do we wiggle our toes? Like never. Okay, and then let's be done with that part for now. Let's come to all fours position. Just find your hands and knees, and we'll warm up a little bit through the spine. Yeah. So as you start to set up here, just begin to move your spine any way that feels interesting. I'll be more specific in a bit, but for the moment, just take whatever you like. Yoga practice and just our physical movement goes by the wayside a little bit, and I find the spine gets really stiff and stuck. So from here, let the movement settle down. Let's press back into child's pose and keep the arms forward here. Just give the mat a little push forward. Reach back through the hips, back through the heels. Maybe take a little side to side here. Toe hinge stretch. So come up a little bit. Tuck your toes under, and then bring the hips back towards the heels again. Now, so for this version, the knees are mostly pointing forward. Walk the knees back a little so you're more hinged in the toes. And then if you're up for it, you can come either to sit all the way up on the heels or just do partial. You can walk the hands a little bit closer to the knees. Yeah. Now in this position, likely the ankles will want to flop apart. See if you can hug in through your ankles and draw straight back through the center, or more through the inner heel. Yeah. Right. And then from here, let's come out, undo the toes, just give them a little shake. And I will take the same position again, but this time you'll take the knees a little wider, so it's kind of like a frog position. Tuck the toes under here, and then go back again. And with this position, you might be able to get the pinky toe a little more than you did earlier. You can stay down, or you can walk back, or you can come up to sit. Yeah, wherever you are is fine. Now if you're upright all the way up, try to lean back a little bit, and that will squash the toes even more. Yeah. Okay, so we'll come out of that gently. Undo the legs, undo the feet, give them a little shake if they like. And then from here, let's go ahead and take down dog to open up through the backs of your knees and go very easy, very gentle with it. You might move some. Here you can pedal, you can shift. And now let's everybody start this pedal action and look at your feet as you're going along. And notice if the feet stay kind of straight in the middle, or if they rock more towards the outer foot or more towards the inner foot. And just notice what you notice. And then let's settle. Take your feet a little bit wider, bend the knees, and we'll walk the hands back towards your feet, just heading to the back of the mat, and prop your forearms up on the thighs. Yes. From here, yogis, root down through the feet, through the legs. On the next inhale, we'll come all the way up. Lift the arms, straighten out the legs, and release. So we'll come standing. From your standing position, just pick a leg. Take one leg a little bit forward. Keep the pelvis facing forward, but rotate the leg so you're in internal rotation. So the leg is rotated in, but the pelvis stays forward. Now from this position, you'll just kind of shift into the leg that's forward, going to the outer edge of the foot. And if it feels all right, you can bend the knee a little more deeply and rock a little bit more towards that side, but be gentle here, especially if you've ever recently had ankle stuff or foot stuff. Yeah. And then let's pause, switch sides. So take your other leg forward and rotate it in slightly without moving the pelvis in. And then shift to the outer edge of the foot. Yeah, exactly. So that's called supination, if you wondered, when you're on the outer edge of the foot. It's called pronation when you're on the in. We'll do that one next. Yeah. Okay. And then come out of that to stand. And then for our next one, we'll take the feet wider apart, and they don't have to be super duper wide, just medium wide. Yeah, Brian, you might even go off the mat for this part. Now for this next one here, let's bend the knees slightly. Actually, just bend one knee, and on that side, you'll roll to the inner edge of the foot and reset. And do that one a couple of times here. It's a little bit like Elvis. Yeah. Now what we don't want to feel here is any pulling sensation in the inner knee. If you're getting that, back off and just do less. If you're feeling a little bit of a stretch though on the inner leg, that's fine. Okay, pause, and then go to the second side. So a little bend in the knee, and then you'll roll more towards the inner edge of the foot. Yeah, and the outer foot will likely lift when you do that. Yes. Next time we'll bring the prop guitars. Okay, and then pause. Come back to center. Let's just reset yourself. And now for this next bit here, I'm going to face the side. You can face any way you like. Bend the knees and bring the hips back. Yeah, let's just take hands to prayer. Now shift forward so that you're on the balls of the feet. The heels lift up. And notice if you have a tendency to let the ankles go apart. Can you hug in through the ankles so you're more on the big toe side of the foot? That's it. And then come back down. Lift the toes. Let's do that a few times. The knees stay bent the whole time. Shift forward, lift the heels, hug the ankles in, and then come down, lift the toes. Do that one more time. Shift forward, lift the heels, hug your ankles in, and then put the heels down, lift the toes. All right, and then straighten out the legs, release the arms. Let's take now hula hoop asana. You guys have all done this before. Bend the knees a little bit. And then as you're making your circle, let it be all about the feet for this one. So on one foot, you'll go to the inner edge. The other foot, you go to the outer edge. Yes. And then go the other direction. Yes. Okay. And then let the movement settle. Just stand in your mountain pose. If you're not at the back of the mat anymore, go ahead and get there. Let's look down at the feet and just have the feet parallel to each other, toes pointing straight ahead. Inhale, we'll send the arms up. Exhale, we'll go down for forward fold. Always fine if you need to bend the knees here. Let's come up halfway, we lengthen. And then lower yourself down, go into plank pose. If you need to take plank on the knees, totally fine. If you can stay with straight legs, do that. And then if you're straight-legged on your feet, give a little push forward and back so you kind of rock onto the toe hinge again. And then if you're doing this with me, can you pause when it feels like the soles of the feet are straight up and down? Just hold that feeling. Zip up a little bit through the low belly. And without moving your hands, try to pull the thumbs closer together like they were magnetic. Yes. Now we come onto the belly. Let's stretch back through the toes here and just make a little pillow for your forehead. Lengthen the legs back one and the other. And from here, we'll lift the legs up off the floor, and as you're doing so, draw back through the toes. So the toes pull towards the back end of the mat, and then lower yourself back down. Do that a few times and you might feel a natural little lift in the upper body. Just let that happen, but don't exaggerate it quite yet. And then let's stay in the up position. Slide your hands just a bit forward and the elbows a bit in. Press down into the floor and try to pull back with your hands as you pull the chest forward. So you go up a little higher, but it's more about creating length than height for this. All right, and then lower yourself down. Just make a little pillow for your forehead. Bend your knees and give the legs a lazy little swish from side to side. Yes, the yogis. All right, we'll put the legs back down. Let's head into downward facing dog, and this time I'll be a little more specific about what we're going to do. All right, so from your downward facing dog, look back at your feet and your ankles. And then let's go really high, lifting the heels as high as you can, and still look at your feet. And just do this a little bit. Let the ankles bow out so you're a little more towards the pinky toe. And do you feel how that's less stable for the ankle and the foot? And then hug in so you're more towards the big toe. And that creates a little more solid of a line. See if you can keep that, and then lift and lower the heels a couple of times, staying more with ankles hugging in. If you need to keep the knees a little bit, that's fine for these. Yes. All right, and then when you've had enough of that, let's pause, and we'll come into a forward fold. Any way you want to get there is fine. Bend the knees a little bit, root down through the feet, and use the inhale to lift. Arms come all the way up overhead, and then we'll release the arms. Okay, so let's stand, go to the back of the mat again, and then we'll do this. It's a little bit of a balance, but it resembles kind of like a march. So the right foot is down, left leg comes up, the right arm goes ahead. And then when you put the left foot down, have it come a little ahead, down, and then switch. Yes. So keep doing that, just nice and slow until we get to the front of the mat. Notice if you're just what your balance is doing. Maybe it's already pretty solid. Maybe you're wobbling all over the place. Pause, stand in your mountain pose. And just stand without thinking about it too much. And notice what happens when you firmly press the feet down into the floor. Just press straight down. And you might notice the rest of the body just kind of tones up a little bit. You might even feel a little bit taller. And then relax. Let's go to the back of the mat again. And we'll do that little march exercise with this in mind. So whatever leg is down, press it firmly down into the floor. And just see if it feels any different. So here we go. One side, and then the other side, step and press. Step and press. It's more exciting, isn't it? Oh, I say that and then I fall. Right. So when we balance, if you activate the feet and energetically press down, it'll give a little more life to the pose. Yeah, so we'll be practicing that in a couple other things. Let's stay at the front of the mat this time. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, down we go, forward fold. Uttanasana. Come up halfway, lengthen. And then let's lower the hands down, walk the feet back. Again, we're going to plank. This time we won't really stay. From your plank pose, we'll come all the way down to the belly. Let's keep the hands where they are. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. Point the elbows to the back of the mat. And then try to pull the mat back as you draw the chest forward. Coming up into a cobra variation. Lower yourself down. And do these a few more times. Some of you might also want to lift the legs like we did in the other version. dog, if you wanted to add in some movement again here, go ahead and do that. Anything is fine, or if you want to just be still, be still. So standing forward fold. Again, any way you want to maneuver that is fine. Inhale your way up. And we'll release the arms. Great. So here's where you'll want your prop. I've just got a yoga blanket folded in half. That works great. Any, like a pillow or a cushion or something. A sweatshirt even is fine. And then put that down. And we'll stand on it with both feet on it. And this just makes the surface, your standing surface, a little different than a flat ground. And sometimes it's actually easier to stand on something like this. So from your position here, let's have the feet just a comfortable distance apart, and we'll take our hula hoop asana again. And it'll likely feel different on the ankles. Let's keep the focus in the lower legs here. And then go the other way. And just pick a side. One leg is down, the other leg comes up, coming into your standing balance. Now, even though our ground is not flat, can you press the standing foot down like we practiced? And then from here, just start to move the lifted leg and your arms around any which way. Oh, yeah. Back to where you were with the leg lifted. Same side still, press the sole of the standing foot straight down. Okay, and then done. Nice, nice job. Yeah, take a second. And then here we go for side two. So the new leg is down, other leg comes up. And then the leg that's down, press it down. Yes, keep breathing, keep breathing. And then we'll start to move the lifted leg and your limbs. And, you know, go slow with it and mindful, but notice what's going on. Position. Keep the sole of the standing foot pressing down. Yes. And just know what leg you're on. We're going to switch in a second. Okay, down we come. Release. Come all the way off the blanket here. Yeah, and if you need to move your feet a little bit after that, you can. Yeah, if that felt very, very challenging, stick with that version. If you want to make it a little more interesting, take your blanket and just kind of mush it up a little bit so it's like a pile. If you don't have a blanket at home, if you have a pillow, maybe turn it on a different side just so it feels different. Yeah? So now from here, you'll pick your first leg, and that foot will stand up on your something. Yes. And hold. Yeah, this is different, isn't it? And then just get a feel for it. Oh, crap. We are losing. If you guys are at home, we're about to lose our meeting. You'll just click the same link again. I think we still have a couple minutes though. We still have 10 minutes. So I'm sorry there's a Zoom error, but we're going to have to restart it in 10 minutes. So just know it was the worst timing, wasn't it? So if you climbed off your thing, get back up there. Okay. And then that's that. Come off. Side two. It's interesting, isn't it? Balancing on something. Yeah, if you need to rebunch. And then here we are for our second leg. Down it is. And then the other side comes up. Yeah. Oh. And just get a feel for it. Maybe start to move your limbs around. Interesting. This side for me is like so easy. The first side was really hard. Okay. And then release. Yes! Nice job, Brian. Nice. I see you Robin. I don't see the other folks, but I bet it's going awesome. All right, so let's move the blanket out of the way and just stand for a second. Notice how you feel. All right, so we'll do one more round. This is kind of a little ankle rock. You'll just shift forward, going up, lifting the heels, and then come down. You can bend the knees, lift the toes. So it's just a little rock. You can use the arms to give you some momentum here. Yeah. We'll take a good calf stretch in a second. Position, also lift the arms, hug the ankles in, and down. Oh, okay, so let's come to the front of the mat here. Root down through the legs. Inhale, we're up, arms lift. Exhale, we're down, forward fold. Let's come up halfway, we lengthen. And then down we come, just to downward facing dog. All right, and then within down dog, let's step the right foot just a little bit forward. Right leg straight, left knee bends, giving the right calf a little stretch. Yeah, stay there and let your pelvis take a small shift right and left a couple of times. Change to the other side, left leg steps just a little forward. Sink the heel towards the floor, let the right knee bend, and take a little side to side here. Great. And then go ahead, let's just reset back to downward facing dog. All right. So we'll come up to stand again, and just bring the feet forward. Inhale all the way up, lift. Exhale, release the arms. So, but you know, just a nice little shift in gears here. If you have blocks, bring them to the front of your mat. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. Yeah. So we'll take a little bit of the sequence here. Stand on the left leg. Bring the right leg up, knee to the chest, hands to prayer. And then you'll bend the left knee and bring the right leg back, keeping the knee bent. So that's the pattern. We'll just do this a couple of times up and down. And you might feel a little bit of wavering going on in the left ankle. That's fine. Here, as we go back, reach the right leg straight back, heel down to the floor, and then come up here with the arms. We'll do a few of these. Inhale, we'll straighten out the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee, cactus the arms, engage the upper back, and hinge forward just a little bit. Inhale to come up back to center. Do that a few more times. It's like you're looking over the edge of a cliff, but then you change your mind, you come back up. Do that a few. For the next time the knee bends, and just bring the hands onto your hips and take a little glance so you can see the left knee and also the left foot. And notice what happens when you put your weight more to the inner heel of the left foot. And do you see how when you do that, the knee knocks in? And then relax. Now think about the left outer calf wrapping back towards the back of the mat. And when you do that, you should see the knee kind of turn out a little bit. So let's pause. We're going to do both together. Press down through the inner heel. Pull back through the outer calf. Keep that on the front leg. And then come back up into your warrior one. And I'm hoping that creates a lot of stability for the lower left leg. I'll just say it again. Inner heel down, outer calf back. All right. So you let that go a little bit. Let's hinge forward and come down here. Hands likely on the blocks. If coming all the way down isn't good, you can do hands to hips. If hands are on the floor, that's fine. And then just take a few rounds to bend and straighten. And don't worry about the inner heel and the outer calf. We'll adjust that in a second. All right. Let's pause with the front leg, your version of straight. One more time. Press the inner heel down. And wrap the outer calf back at the same time. Move back through the pelvis, forward through the chest. Yes. Now from here, one more thing. Back off a little bit on the left leg. Bend the left knee slightly. Arms stretch straight back alongside you. And then you'll come forward onto the tip of the right big toe. Maybe this is where you want to stay. This is a lot of work, especially for the left hip. If you'd like to test out your balance, you could lift the right leg. Maybe you just go a little bit like an airplane. Maybe you hinge more like a warrior three, chest parallel to the floor. Yeah. Gonna stand 2 feet side by side, bring yourself upright. Oh, okay, we did it. That was a long time on one side. Let's switch over to side 2. So the right leg is the down leg and left leg comes up. Hands are just in prayer. Take a little bend in the right knee. And then let's hinge forward, chest forward, left leg back. And then up we come to center. Do that a few more times on the same side. If you notice a little bit of wobbling in the ankle, that is fine. Let's bend the right knee deeper, stretch the left leg straight, and reach the heel down to the floor. Up we come with both arms. Go ahead and straighten out the front leg. Inhale. Exhale, we'll bend. Engage the upper back. Lean a little forward. And then inhale, we'll return to center. Do that a couple more times on this leg. Front knee bends. Bring the torso upright. Go ahead, just hands to the hips and have a little glance at the right knee and foot. And then see what happens when you press the inner heel down. The knee will knock in a little bit. Keep that and wrap the outer calf back at the same time. So the knee aligns itself and the lower leg's very stable here. Let's stretch up here for warrior one pose. Inner heel down, outer calf back. We'll back off a little bit from that as we hinge forward and down, hands to blocks or hands to the hips or to the floor. Take a few rounds just to bend and straighten the front leg, getting a nice little hamstring stretch bonus. That's it. And then we're going to pause with the front leg, your version of straight. Press the inner heel down, wrap the outer calf back. Let's hold that in the front leg. Move the pelvis back, move the heart forward, coming into a little more spinal extension and also a little bit more hamstring stretch. Yeah. Now from here, let the front knee bend a little bit. Stretch the arms back. Go onto the tip of the left big toe at first. And then as you're ready, let the leg lift a little bit or a little more. Maybe you come all the way parallel to the floor. Maybe you don't go that far. Yeah. Just stand 2 feet side by side. Ha! And that's that. Great. Let's take hula hoop again. This is just kind of as a reset. Let the hips be the focus here instead of the ankles. The ankles will move, but let it be mostly hips. Great. Go the other direction. Just where you're standing with the feet a little wider than they normally go. Bend the knees, bring the hips back, rest the forearms on the thighs. Send the inner groins back, the heart forward. And then just pick a side here. We'll open up for a twist. Yeah. And then down, open up, second side twist. Oh. And then down. Root into the legs, inhale all the way up, we stand, lift the arms, stretch the legs, and release the arms. Great, just do a little in and out with the shoulders for a second. Yeah, and then we'll do it's kind of a big standing cat-cow, so stay where you're standing. Take the arms in front of you, but the back of the wrists together, and then bend the knees, let yourself then on the inhale, open up, arms pull back, chest pulls forward. This one's like the cow pose. Do that a few times, going both directions. You can choose how big you want it. Arms a little bit. Okay, you guys. So let's next come to sit. You can move your props out of the way. If you need to be sitting on a blanket, take what you need. Just to create a little height for the pelvis if necessary. And then perch yourself up onto the fingertips just behind you and sit up really, really tall. Yeah. Reach the inner heels forward and spread out with the toes, but don't be super aggressive with that. Just a little bit. Yeah. Nice. Now if you can keep this position in the spine and either lighten up with the hands or lift the arms overhead, do that. But sometimes we lift up and then we collapse. So if that's happening, just keep the hands for support. If you're up though, pretend somebody's pulling on your fingertips. That'll help lift you. Great. Okay. Release the arms. Take both legs just a smidge to the right. Just a little bit. And then you'll pick up the right leg, cross it over the left. So the right knee is bent, left leg is straight. Press down into the floor again, sit up really tall. And on the left foot, reach outward through the inner heel. Just whatever direction it's going. Angle the torso straight ahead. For many of us, myself included, just sitting up is enough. If you need more, you can start to hinge forward, and that'll give you more stretch. Now just as a little experiment, notice what happens when your left foot just does nothing. And then see how it's different when you press out through the heel. They're both valid versions of the pose, but for today we're doing feet, so I want you to reach out through the heel. And then we'll back off, come to center, undo. And then send both legs just a little bit to the left, just over the midline. Cross the left leg over, and then press outward through the right heel, especially the inner heel. Hands down to lift up. Angle the torso straight ahead. Oh yeah, me too. Just sitting here is plenty. If you want the extra, you can start to hinge forward. A little foot experiment. Just see what happens when the foot does nothing. And then see what happens when the foot is alive. Okay, let's be done there. Undo, come back to center, and just relax the feet, relax the legs, little wiggle jiggle asana. And then from here, we'll come down onto your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor. And we'll just do this classic outer hip stretch at first. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And then bring the left leg in, and you can hold on any way you like. Now, at first, just do anything. It might feel good to move around a little bit, or just maybe find a good spot. And then let's pause here and notice a few things. First, notice if the back of the pelvis is kind of trying to lift up off the floor, and the low back is pressing down. If that's happening, do the opposite. Rock a little forward. See if you can maintain normal lumbar curve. And they won't go to the floor, but bring the tailbone and the sitting bones towards the floor. And then without moving the pelvis, maybe from here bring the legs a little closer. Guess what we're going to do? On the right foot, press outward through your inner heel. Also think about this outer calf, the part that's away from you, drawing down towards the mat. Same idea as standing when we were pressing the inner heel and wrapping the calf back. You could even use your hand to assist. And then let's undo and reset, cross the other one over. And then from here, just give yourself a second if you need to move around a little bit or find a good spot. lifting and or if the low back is pressing down. Untuck the pelvis, a little bit of lumbar curve. Try to move the tailbone towards the floor, it won't go to the floor. And maintaining that alignment in the pelvis, try to bring the legs closer to you. Yeah. If you go too much, you'll lose the pelvis, so see if you can keep them both. Press outward through the inner left heel. And think about the outer calf drawing down or towards you. You could even use your hand to assist that action. Knees bent, go a little wider in the feet and just do some windshield wipers. Any speed, anything you want to do with that is fine. And then from here, let's pause. Stretch the left leg long, bring the right knee in towards your chest. Breathe in. On the exhale, lift the left leg, lift the head and the torso. On the inhale, come down. Let's just do that one more time. Exhale, we lift. Inhale, we come down, stay down. Hold the hands behind the right thigh and reach the right heel up to stretch the back of the right leg. And then we'll bend the knee, take the right leg over to the left, just crossing over into a twist. And change sides. So the right leg goes long, the left leg comes in. And then at first, hold just in front of the shin. Give the leg a little squeeze. Breathe in. On the exhale, lift the head, lift the right leg. And inhale, we come down. Let's do that one more time, lift. And then we come down. Stay down. Hold the hands behind the left leg and press the leg towards straight, reaching upward through your heel. Okay, let's bend the knee and twist. Take the leg over to the right. You choose the depth here. Let's stretch both legs just long on the floor and both arms up by your head. And give the wrists and the ankles some circles here. Yeah, go both directions. Bend the knees, feet to the floor, and take your hands on the legs but close to the hip crease. Breathe in. As you exhale, press hands into legs. Let the lower ribs drop down. Inhale to back off. Do that a couple more times. So exhale, press. And inhale to back off. That's the last one. Right. And then from here, yogis, we'll take Shavasana, our final resting pose. If you need to wiggle around some or grab any kind of props to be comfortable, just take whatever you need here. And as you start to settle in, see if you can relax. Relax through the belly. Relax right around the thighs, the hip creases. Feet. let your whole self just drop downward, inward. Bring your attention into the soles of your feet. And on the next inhale from your feet, start to breathe in and up through the legs into your body. And on the exhale, breathe down and out through the legs and out through the feet. Do a few of those breaths. Your fingers, your wrists. It feels all right to stretch, reach the arms overhead. Yeah, and just take whatever you need here. You're still lying down, let your knees bend. Roll your body over to one side. And we'll just meet up in a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank your own body for everything that it's able to do. Hey, yogis! So good to see you.